I read an interesting take on public school choice, or vouchers, that approached it from a slightly different angle than I had heard before, and it's kind of moved me a little bit off the fence closer to vouchers. Now, I really don't think I need to explain this issue from a Republican Democrat viewpoint. I mean, I think most people are pretty much understand the split there and how that works. Why one side is for it and one side is against. Um, that should be pretty easy for a person to deduce. How this issue split libertarian opinion and why you might consider it, why one libertarian might consider supporting choice is more interesting. Milton Friedman came out as a major activist for school choice or vouchers. His logic was that anything that improved the educational outcomes of children and that created a possibility that they might get a wholly different education was itself good for more individuals and thus an improvement on liberty. Marshall Fritz opposed vouchers because he feared that once private institutions took government money, it would come with inevitable strings involved. And the requirements that came with that government money would end up undermining and destroying private institutions. So that's essentially the libertarian split on the idea of vouchers. One basically saying anything that improves the situation is good, whereas the other side says uh, that the danger inherent of having government money involved isn't worth the risk. Marshall Fritz was as concerned with liberty as he was with the religious well being of children. In the 15 years since his passing, public schools have plunged into unimaginable lows in both academic achievement and in terms of developing a student's moral character. I almost wonder if what we're seeing today would have been enough to change his mind a little. Now I want to credit uh, Lewis M. Andrews of The Spectator and an article titled Will School Choice Destroy the Democratic Party? I have a link to that below. The story's worth a good read. I'm going to quote at least the most salient points of it. And he brings up some really good points in a direction I hadn't really considered before. Quoting the article, if nothing else, the widespread subsidy of K through 12 grade schooling in venues not run by teachers' unions would deplete the enormous army of campaign workers that the Democrats have come to depend on during every election cycle. In New Jersey, for example, that state's 203,000 strong teachers union operates most of the party's phone banks, conducts mass Zoom meetings and town halls, canvasses door to door, holds get out the vote rallies, leads voters of color walks, and facilitates early voting. As to the impact of school choice on the Democratic Party coffers, both the decline in teachers' union affiliation and the reduced value of unions to their remaining members would significantly decrease what unions could raise from annual dues, in turn, decreasing how much could be passed along to left wing candidates. The Democratic Party that received an historic 64.5 million for the 2020 presidential race directly from the teachers unions and millions more in so-called dark money funneling through intermediary groups would soon find itself operating on a much leaner budget. And continuing to quote, but by far more the most destabilizing impact of school choice would be its ability to finally break an intellectual stalemate that has divided the country for decades. Increasingly, Democrats have become the voice of credentialed expertise, the party that believes social problems are best solved by subsidized professionals who have mastered the relevant academic wisdom. Should it become clear that children do best in the schools that are chosen and ever even run by their own parents, the public wouldn't be open to rethinking, the public would be open to rethinking the delivery of other public services, from welfare to healthcare. Now, that's pretty powerful stuff there, you think about it. And we've because libertarians are individual oriented, we tend to look at things entirely from the point of view of an individual. And in this case, what the author is suggesting is that school choice will undermine teachers' unions, which will will take out a major leg of the Democratic Party. So if we adopt the Fritz model, essentially no vouchers, no choice, we aren't likely to ever see movement to choice in blue states, and the red states will make the move to do this so incrementally that there won't be much of a movement. The Friedman model, choice or vouchers, is on the move in red states as we speak. Assuming our author, Mr. Andrews, is correct, the debilitating impact to the Democratic Party will be minimal at first, because the place this will first occur will be in places the Democratic Party is the weakest. However, over the long term, assuming liberty works, the incredible improvement in education in red states will begin a process of sapping the will of blue state parents to tolerate expensive, failing, and dangerous public school systems. At this point, the independent private school system is too small and ineffectual to ever turn the tide. With the current state of the Democratic Party in public schools, a movement with the potential to knock out the underpinnings of both might very well be worth the risk to public schools. And again, the link for that article is below. It's worth a read. Definitely interested in your opinion on this. Does the idea of making the Democratic Party much weaker change the way you look at how school choice and vouchers work? I mean, in other words, are you more likely to favor them because of this? If you still don't favor vouchers and choice because of the Fritz view of things, I'd also be interested in your opinion in the comment section as well. Please smash the like button. If the YouTube algorithm brought you here and you're not a regular subscriber, please consider subscribing. I have a very eclectic range of videos and topics I go over. And if you know somebody who might find this interesting, please share that with them. All right, well, thank you for spending time with me this evening. Hope to see you again in a future video.